We are crew, not passengers. I feel like just is the heart. Something just to really take away from EL.
Even though you've already learned, there's always more you can learn. And the more you learn, like, your everyday life will become so much easier because you'll have all these skills, all this knowledge.
There has been some amazing things that I would not have predicted kids would do, and they did.
People going out and exploring and diving into something and wanting to know more and finding that it just truly motivated students. It engaged them to want to know more, which then they want to come to school, they want to learn, they want to dig deeper. And by digging deeper, then they'll find something else they discover and keep going, kind of like with Outward Bound, when you're out in nature and you're exploring.
A rig-a-jig-jig and away we go, away we go, away we go. A rig-a-jig-jig.
While everybody talks about it, it's very joyful, it's exciting. The results that we see from kids is amazing. Knowing that an expedition is like a 6 to 8 week study, and it's multidisciplinary.
So it's like hard because you don't know what your website is. So you're just like, okay, so we have to agree on something to make the website.
There you go. And that's what collaboration is all about, isn't it?
So they're integrating, all of their language arts and like making sure they're covering all the standards and that they're covering everything that they need to cover, but yet integrating it into this really thoughtful, conceptual kind of way of learning. And that's really engaging to kids. At the same time, thinking about all the different components of an expedition, like field study. It's not field trips anymore, it's field study. What kind of work are we going to take our kids out into the community and actually do? The service learning part, how do we give back? What experts are we going to bring in? So being mindful of all the components of a really good, rigorous expedition is hard work. And it took a lot of planning in the beginning because, before that, we taught our science units and we taught our social studies units and we taught our language arts. But now to integrate it all around a concept, it was a lot of work. And it continues to be, even though our teachers have really started to master the craft, it's that idea of that they're constantly refining it. Like, oh, well, this worked well last year, but I bet this year we could do this. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges, that you need to go into it knowing it's not easy. It's hard work, but it's really good work.
As we were exploring EL education as a possible model for Fox Creek, we saw that it really resonated with who we were as a school to begin with, but had the sense that partnering with EL could actually make us better at what we already were doing. Fox Creek from the beginning has been a school that is about educating the whole child. And at the time I really thought I knew what that meant. But I think my eyes have been opened up to really the possibilities of what it means to truly teach the whole child. And I think that's defined as your head knowledge, or what we would call mastery of knowledge and skills. What are the skills that a child knows and is able to do? That's so important, and oftentimes that's where schools are judged on their test scores. But equally as important is a child's character and the quality of the work that they do.
I know from past experience at a preschool that I used to go to, they would just kind of pop in and do the work. But at Douglas County schools, they come in and they teach you about it, then they have you go talk about it, then they bring you back and actually have you share your thoughts.
We started our 7 Habits of Character when we started EL, and that was our first charge. And we wanted our students to have these beautiful characters to hold with them as learners and as little people. And so some of them include integrity, respect, compassion, collaboration. And we get to see this played out in their academics every day, who they are socially, as they are learners at our school.
Constantly communicating the why of what we're doing, being sure to constantly stress that to teachers, coming back to our work plan. And so making sure that everybody understands we're not just doing this because it's the thing to do or whatever. It really has purpose and it's really meaningful to us. I have a staff development team, and that's made up of teachers from every grade level. And those teachers help me plan the PLC days. So they're the ones giving the input as like, well, I'm talking to my team and this is really difficult. I think we need more help on this. In addition to that, we have a leadership team that's made up of It's admin plus a couple other teachers from the building, and they help make those decisions about, you know, the path that we're going and the journey that we're on, and making sure that we're doing it in a really purposeful way. But that constant communication with our staff, with our parent community, with our kids, like, here's why we're doing what we're doing, the meaning behind it.
Working at an EL school is messy and really hard. It takes a lot of creativity. We really let the kids take more of a lead, so I think it's understanding that as a teacher, you won't know all the answers, and that we really let the kids kind of drive what's going to be happening. We come up with a backwards plan and have some guiding questions, but a lot of our rubrics, our criteria lists, our projects, our presentation style have a lot to do with how the kids want it to go and not how we want it to go. Another big idea that teachers have to understand is we do student-led conferences, and so the students really run a lot of that, and that takes a lot of prep on the teacher side because you're preparing them, you're helping them to self-assess. It's not us checking papers and giving them back, it's really the kids being engaged in that. And then our celebrations of learning, and that is a really big process that we go through twice a year, where the kids are presenting their learning, and again, the teacher's kind of taking the backstage and being more of a coach versus just teaching and telling the kids what to say.
We've made tremendous growth this year. We received the Distinguished Governor's Award for our growth, and I really think it's partly due to the amount of work kids get to do with the interdisciplinary side of their expedition and understanding.
I just like the learning, like how they teach us. Like it feels unique because all the teachers really have a way that really engages me into the learning. And I just feel like Fox Creek's a really supportive place, and that's why I love to learn here.
When we listen to what employers are needing of graduates, the kinds of skills that they need, that they're claiming at this point that students aren't graduating from the university with, that's the gap that teachers are striving to fill with kids when it comes to collaborative environments, problem-solving abilities, critical thinking, thinking outside of the box, being able to work as a crew, and sometimes across virtual settings, across cultural barriers. Those are the skills that I think are really essential for teachers to be able to facilitate and provide guidance on for kids. I really don't know of other school systems within our state that provide the opportunity for leadership to really happen at the local school level. That sense that we are crew and not passengers, that sense that we all need each other in order to establish or achieve the goals that we have is true for all kids. But in order for it to really make sense, in order for it to really be a part of our culture, we have to practice crew as adults as well. And so our staff practices the elements of crew. We have those same kinds of attitudes towards one another, that we do need each other. And we also practice this with our community. And so in our community meetings, our gatherings, any kind of a meeting we have, which might be our PTO or our school advisory council, we practice elements of crew, which give that message to everyone. What you have to say is important, and we need your skill set in order to be able to accomplish the goals of our school.